everyone, welcome back to GK Today. I'm Nuzhat Sana and in this video I'll discuss today's top current and static general studies questions for UPSC Prelims Examination 2022 onwards. And these questions are framed keeping in view both the factual as well as analytical aspects of UPSC Prelims exam. Also, I would like to inform you that these questions are part of GK Today's UPSC Prelims Test Series, which is available in GK Today Android app. And the test series for 2022 Prelims Examination comprises total of 7500 questions, divided 2500 questions on current general studies and 5000 questions on static general studies. And the series has started from May 2021 and it will end with UPSC Prelims Examinations 2022. So if you wish to access all questions of GK Today UPSC Prelims Test Series, you may subscribe the test series in the app. So now without wasting any further time, let's get started.
So today this is our lecture number 45 and now let's start. Question number 1. With reference to the Information Technology, Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Rules 2021, consider the following statements. First of all, what is this act? This was actually notified by Ministry of Electronics and IT, and the rules classify social media platforms into social media intermediaries and significant social media intermediaries based on the number of registered users. And the rules provide for a three-tier system to be established by a significant social media intermediary, that is, intermediary that has over 5 million registered users in the country. So this three-tier system for observing diligence includes, first of all, Chief Compliance Officer, then secondly, Nodal Contact Person, and a Residence Grievance Officer. So the significant social media intermediaries are required to enable the identification of the first originator of a message on its platform upon requirement by a competent authority. So overall, we can say that the IT rules of 2021 aims to empower ordinary users of social media platforms and OTT platforms with a mechanism for redressal and timely resolution of their grievance with the help of a grievance redressal officer who should be a resident of India. Also, special emphasis has been given on the protection of women and children from sexual offences, fake news and other misuse of the social media. Okay, now let's come to the statements. First is, a significant social media intermediary is a social media platform with more than 50 lakh registered users in India. This is right. And second statement says, the rules make compulsory for social media intermediaries to appoint the grievance redressal officer, which we have discussed here, who should be a resident in India. This is also correct. Okay, so correct answer becomes both 1 and 2. Now what is the need for digital media regulation? First of all, actually major digital media platforms operating in India are of foreign origin. Hence there is a need to ensure their compliance to domestic laws. So these rules emphasize the need for these social media intermediaries and online content providers, whether for entertainment or informative purpose, to strictly comply with the Constitution and domestic law of India. Then secondly, it sets a kind of accountability to them. Then also it makes the things uniform, and also it lays a social emphasis on the protection of women against the progression of sexual offences on social media. So it creates a kind of social impact as well. Okay. Now next question. With reference to the V-shaped recovery and K-shaped recovery in economies, consider the following statements. Before that, we have to understand what are these type of recoveries. But first of all, why recovery term is in news? Because as India was going to come out of the COVID-19 lockdown few months back, experts were debating over the shape of recovery of Indian economy. Okay. So according to World Bank's South Asia Economic Focus Report, India's growth is likely to be remain at 1.5 to 2.8% in the year 2020 to 21, which is the slowest since 1991 economic reforms. So economic recovery can take many forms which are depicted using alphabetic notations, and these alphabets generally denote the graph of growth rate. Okay, and the fundamental difference between the different kinds of recovery is the time taken for the economic activity to get normalized. Okay, now first is Z-shaped recovery. It is actually the most optimistic scenario in which economy quickly rises after the economic crash. Okay, then second is V-shaped recovery. This is the next best scenario after Z-shaped recovery, in which the economy quickly recoups lost things and gets back to the normal growth trend line. Okay, so in this what happened is incomes and jobs are not permanently lost and the economic growth recovers sharply and returns to the path it was following before the disruption. So the kind of graph V-shaped make is like this. This is the normal economic growth rate and here it becomes something like V. Okay, and here this dotted line shows the breakage. Okay, now next is U-shaped recovery. This is a kind of scenario in which the economy, after falling, struggles around a low growth rate for some time before rising gradually to usual levels. Okay, so in this case several jobs are lost and people fall upon their savings. So the kind of graph it makes is like this. This is growth and then there makes a kind of trough and then dotted lines and again growth is made. Okay, now next is W-shaped recovery. It is a kind of dangerous thing and in this growth falls and rises but falls again before recovery. So in this we can say that growth falls 2 times. Okay, and the graph is something like this type. Okay, now next is L-shaped, but before that I have to make some space. In this what happened is the economy falls to regain the level of GDP even after the years go by. Fine, and the shape L shows that there is a permanent loss to the economy's ability to produce. Fine, and the graph goes like this. Normal growth rate, then there is a breakage point and makes it something like L. Okay, now let's come back to the question. Let's read the statements. While different sections of economy recover at different magnitude, in K-shaped recovery, V-shape indicates uniform recovery. So we do not talk about K-shaped, but yes, this statement is right. And second says K-shaped recovery indicates divisions and disparities along geographic, industrial, racial or class lines. So these are some of the properties of K-shaped recovery. Okay, this is also right and correct answer becomes both 1 and 2. Actually, K-shaped recovery occurs in an economy following a recession when different sections of it recover at different magnitudes, times or rates. Okay, but V-shaped recovery occurs in an economy following a recession again that is shaped, means it exhibits sustained and quick type of recovery. Okay, and K-shaped recovery is an indication of divisions and disparities along various lines. On the other hand, V-shaped recovery indicates a more uniform recovery across the economy. Okay, talking about some of the examples. The example of V-shaped recovery is 1920-21 depression in USA recovery. Okay, and K-shaped recovery example is first wave of COVID-19. Fine. Now next question. With reference to use of biomass in power generation, consider the following methods and statements regarding them. First of all, what is biomass? It is a kind of plant or animal material that is used as fuel to generate electricity. And these are important because they are renewable energy as well as carbon neutral. Okay. Now let's see the options. In gasification of biomass, the biomass is rapidly heated in absence of oxygen. Actually, gasification is a method for power generation where a synthesis gas is produced from the biomass by heating it with lesser oxygen than is needed for complete combustion. So oxygen is there but the quantity is less, so we cannot say that there is complete absence of oxygen, hence it is wrong. Second is bio-oil or bio-crude is obtained by pyrolysis. Actually, in the pyrolysis method, the biomass is rapidly heated in the absence of oxygen to produce a bio-oil, which is then used for power generation. So this is right. And third is syngas is obtained by gasification of biomass. Actually, direct combustion of biomass is the most common method for power generation from biomass such as agricultural waste, animal waste, other plant residues, etc. And in anaerobic digestion method, the organic matter in the biomass is digested or decomposed by anaerobic bacteria in the absence of oxygen to produce natural gas. So yes, this is also right, and correct answer becomes only 2 and 3 are correct. Now why it was in news? Because recently the Ministry of Power has decided to set up a national mission on use of biomass in coal-based thermal power plants. So this proposed national mission on biomass will also contribute to the National Clean Air Program, and it would further support the energy transition in the country and targets to move towards cleaner energy resources. So basic aim of this mission is to reduce the pollution which occurs due to farm stubble burning and also to reduce carbon footprints of thermal power generation. Okay, and the duration of this proposed national mission would be of minimum 5 years. Fine. Next question, which of the following are correct statements with respect to the environmental DNA, or you can say eDNA? What is this eDNA? It is actually the genetic material collected from different environmental samples such as seawater, soil, air, snow, etc. instead of from individual organisms. Fine. So such environmental DNA is sequenced using high DNA sequencing methods to rapidly measure the biodiversity in the region. And a process called DNA metabarcoding is used to determine the organisms present in the sampled environment, and in this process the collected sample is analyzed against DNA libraries. Okay, so why it was in news? Because recently scientists have proposed the use of eDNA analysis for evaluating the presence of invasive species in a given environment. Fine. Now let's see the options. It is obtained from individual flora and fauna of a particular habitat to measure the biodiversity. No, this is wrong because we take environmental samples. Okay. And second is it can help to evaluate the invasive species in a given environment. Yes, this is right, and correct answer becomes only 2. Actually, the technique of extracting environmental DNA was used to confirm the presence of specific varieties of rare turtles in the ponds of Northeast. Due to the ritual nature of ponds, scientists were actually denied complete access to these ponds, and so this technique was used there. Also, Indian soft shell turtle, which comes under vulnerable category, and South Asian narrow-headed soft shell turtle, which comes under endangered category, were the species whose presence was confirmed by this technique. So this is a kind of fastest emerging tool for monitoring the biodiversity of an area without physically collecting the specimen. So that's why it was in news. Okay. Now coming to last question, on which of the following products the GST compensation cess is levied at present? This cess is actually levied under GST Act of 2017, and it is levied to compensate for the loss of revenue faced by the states due to the implementation of GST regime for a period of 5 years. And the cess is levied on items like cigarettes, aerated drinks, and automobiles, which fall under the 28% GST slab. So correct answer is 1, 2 and 3. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. If you want to give any review, feedback or suggestion regarding these lectures, you can tell us in the comment section. Definitely we'll try to implement that. And now we'll meet again tomorrow with 5 more new and interesting questions. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. And please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nuzhat Sana signing off.